Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking this time to share your ideas with us today to discussing education in crisis, rebuilding opportunity for Iraqi children. My name is Dr. Aziz. I'm lecturer at Suleimani University, College Education, Counseling Department. I would like to thank University of Suleimani Education College and KSC organization for appointing me to lead this webinar. That's why today I will be leading this discussion and presenter of this webinar. Before we start, I would like to welcome all of you and share with you the objective of this webinar. The purpose of the webinar is discuss the current challenges facing education in Iraq, especially the current crisis in education. Then to discuss solutions for our children in Iraq. Here is the brief of the agenda. We will begin by introduce our panelists and follow this discussion. Remember, please, to leave your phone mute to avoid noise in the background. We will have a question and answer session at the end, so be sure to leave a comment in the chat. I also want to let you know that we have a subtitle and translate available in both Arabic and Kurdish language. If you prefer Kurdish, please press the first and bottom to access the Kurdish translation. And also for subtitle, you can select the translation, so you can choose the language that work best for you. Again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your attention until the end for this session. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our panelists. The first panelist is Mr. Omar Rafi Salman, an Assistant General Director for the Ministry of Education of Iraq, Executive Board for Literacy and ILP Education.
Thank you.
The second panelist will be Mr. Ali Kaki, representative of UNESCO, Associated Project Office, Education Unit. The third panelist, Mr. Umar Wahab, Education Specialist at UNICEF in Iraq. The last panel will be Mr. Sabah, Education Manager at Kurdistan Save the Children. By the way, Save the Children, KSC, non-profit organization focusing on improving the life of children in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. Their main job including providing humanitarian assistance, education, and protection to the homeless children and family affected by conflict and displacement. They have helped thousands of homeless children for 20 last years. We would like to especially thank them for organizing this webinar. Without them, reporters, we would not all be here. Once again, if you have any question or any comments during the webinar, please feel free to leave them in the chat. I also want to tell you we provide translation across Arabic and Kurdish, so you can choose the language. In this webinar, we will be discussing 4 themes. The first one, education in Iraq. The second one, education of IDPs. The third one, education of children of special needs. And the last one, effective of boycott in Kurdistan region education. We can say, generally, the goal of this webinar is to understanding the state of education in Iraq and how to improve it. Again, welcome to my guests and welcome to those who who are attending. Again, I'm sorry for some late. Before we start the discussion, I remind panelists to talk for 10 minutes on their topic, please. Now, I will be beginning with our first topic of discussion, and that is education in Iraq, beginning with their representative of Ministry of Education in Iraq, Mr. Ammar. Mr. Ammar, welcome.
You are very welcome.
I know you are working with Iraqi government, Ministry of Iraq, Ministry of Education. And also, I know you have a lot of experience about education in Iraq. Can you tell us, please, what are the issues facing education in Iraq today?
Okay, Doctor. First of all, I think it's important to identify the styles of education in Iraq in general. We have both for formal and non-formal education styles in Iraq. Both of them are certificated and have laws. And also we classify them due to the ages of learners. So maybe I will mention, or someone was heard that non-formal education in Iraq. We are addressing this title for the ages which are out of schools, for the ages 12 above. So maybe you always use the words not formal. I think all the NGOs they name it with another item. So for the non-formal education, it is not the soft education or soft skills as you are always dealing with. But in Iraq, we have a non-formal education which deal with literacy and ALP schools. In general, in Iraq, I think there was a big problem we have suffered by the ISIS issue, and that experience added to us many challenges and added many ways of using some alternatives ways of education so we can follow up with them. There was catastrophic events in 4 major governorates in Iraq, as you all know, with terrible impacts to the children and to youth and to girls especially, and also for these consequences that followed that important event. So in general, Iraq, as you know it, because all of you are dealing with this item, the most big problem in Iraq is the building schools.
Right.
Our school buildings. This is a very important issue, and this is the very great obstacle for the process of education in Iraq, because as you know, that leads to double and triple shifted for education, and also make the shortening of the lesson period, and also that leads to the rest areas for boys and girls especially. The other thing I imagine for this matter, that enrolling boys and girls who are out of schools, as we call it, dropouts, are unadjusted at all. And also the problem of lifelong learning, which I think it is important to processing the national regulations that prevent them to do so, especially for guests and disabled or special needs persons. I think we must take real procedures to link education with labor market, because I think this idea is very absent here. Meanwhile, we are dealing with this matter, but with the not largely or not enough for this perspective. also because I think with this link between labor and education, I think the most important to target the illiterates or the boys or girls out of children or out of schools, because they are already boys and girls, and I think they are ready to they are already existing in the market. So I think it's important to target them education at the same time. Another thing, I think we have some issue which we dealt with my colleague Omar with the UNICEF, because he was with us with this practice for back to learning issue, which we had many specific notes about causes and the way of healing that matter. One of them was the matter of adopting new examination methods to fit the recent needs and the circumstances in way to be harmonized with SDG goals and Marrakesh framework for action, and always with UIL report addressed to the UN Assembly number 77 and the resolution of literacy for life, which raised by the social committee in this UN Assembly. I think with this note exactly, we are very as a matter of fact, we are not dealing with this matter because, as I said before to Mr. Taher, with my note before, which I wrote, that is impossible for it's much important for UNESCO to tell us something about these headlines. For the matter of examination methods and what I said previously, I think it is obvious, very obvious to all that we are dealing with recent difficult circumstances and facts, but at the same time we are depending on laws and regulation built in previous era. Sorry. So I think in general this is our problem, and we have many problems, but this is, I think, the headlines of it, because every one of these notes are maybe to be given another ideas or other aspects which affect the process of education.
Okay. Thanks so much, Mr. Ammar. Thank you for information. Now to Mr. Tahir. Mr. Tahir, Mr. Ammar, he talked so many important points about education in Iraq. My question for you is, how did the cases of conflict between Kurdistan region and Baghdad affected education in Iraq? What do you say about this relation between Baghdad and Erbil, and how effective on the education in Iraq?
Thank you, Dr. Zana. Thank you, Mr. Ammar, about his feedback. I think Mr. Ammar, he has mentioned most of the points and gaps that we are facing in terms of education. The most gaps that we have in both areas like the federal Iraq and KRI is the lack of educational infrastructure in terms of building, in terms of number of building, in terms of even the exist facility schools and the others is not with the good quality. It's not according to the international standards, educational standards. So this is in fact one of the issue. Coming back to what you have raised about the issue of boycott and the other issues related to KRI, of course, this has a great effect on the education at all. Like it will affect the education like from the like different layers, starting with the children themselves, the students, the teachers. It will affect the whole educational system. Like the first thing, this will create a gap. For example, the same gap that we have faced during COVID at 2020. Like, for example, when the students, they are not receiving the usual teaching hours, their performance will be like lower than expected. For the upcoming stages, for example, like the same as that we have faced during COVID. Like, for example, the second or third grade of the primary school students, they were not capable of writing or reading. This is a huge issue. This should be fixed as soon as possible. The other layer that is affected from that is the education itself. Like people now, because of these issues, especially in KRI region, if they see like the situation is going like that for the last 2 or 3 years, they will not be encouraged to join as a teachers. They will not encouraged be to be engaged in this educational system. So this is really it's a really big matter. It will affect not just the educational system, it will affect the whole region of Iraq and especially like KRI.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tahir. Thank you for the information. Now, I would like to move to discuss the question regarding IDP children. I would like to address this question to Mr. Umar Wahdi, UNICEF. Mr. Umar, welcome. Mr. Umar.
Dr. Zana, may I just refer, I think your internet connection is weak because your voice is not clear.
Okay.
Sorry, Doctor, can you come again?
Okay. Now, I would like to move to discussing this question regarding IDP children. I would like to address this question to Mr. Umar. Mr. Umar, welcome.
If I received it clearly, you would like to have more understanding about the issue of IDP children?
Yes. My question
Okay.
for you is, what are the issues recently facing IDP students in the Iraq?
Thank you very much, Doctor. Regarding the issue of the IDPs in general, if we look at the current situation compared with 2021, I would like to say the situation has changed. If we look at even the DTM of IOM, the balance of the returnees have severely increased. Now we have more than 4 million returnees. However, this is not changing the fact that we still have IDPs within the country. According to figures, over 1 million IDPs still exist in the majority, over 650,000 individuals in Kurdistan region of Iraq, in the three main governorates of Arbil, Duhok, and Suleimania, and the rest are still in governorates like Nainawa and Salah ad-Din, Diyala, and Kirkuk. Those governorates still hosting IDPs. However, according to what we see, still there are needs to support the IDPs. Still in KRI, we have, according to figures, 370 IDP schools in the region, in Kurdistan region of Iraq, although it is under the structure of the Ministry of Education, and the situation is the coordination is high between both ministries of education in Kurdistan and Iraq to stabilize the situation of the IDPs, but that will not change the fact that we need more support in terms of quality of education for the IDPs, because if we look at the current status, still 45% of the IDP schools are prefabricated schools, which is built in 2014 with the beginning of crisis. Although the NGOs are supporting with renovation on annually, but still need a lot of support. However, in terms of the salary, in terms of support, there's support increased from the Ministry of Education, but we are looking more, and we are encouraging and advocating for stabilizing the situation of IDPs. This is what we see. It is reflected with the discussion with the senior management or the senior staff inside the Ministry of Education. The discussion is moving toward removing the word of IDPs to be the Arabic schools hosting Arab students in the region, but still the definition is unclear. However, according to the figures, 158,000 IDP children are in need to support and provide long-term sustainable solution for them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your information. Now I come back to Mr. Ammar. Mr. Ammar, please can you tell us, Ministry of Education in Iraq, do you have any specific schedule for IDP students in Iraq?
Doctor, as you know, we have some issue with this matter, and I think most of students or pupils are who return to their government race have been enrolled with schools, and they are getting having education with parent process. But I think the families who are still in Kurdistan, I think this is something depending on themselves, because they are still living there with carries and with. So I think everyone who will come for returns for IDPs who return to his governorate, I think it is very easy to have school and to keep on getting education normally. Maybe Mr. Omar was specific with this matter, because, as I said, we have worked with him for the Back to Learning campaign, and this practice has had given us many examples of these children, and most of them are come back to school regularly, and we are still waiting for anyone to come back to his area to keep on getting education.
Okay, thanks so much. Mr. Tahir, I will come back to you. What do you say about IDP student in Iraq?
Sorry, doctor, your voice was not clear.
Okay, thanks. I say, what do you say about IDP student in Iraq? What's your
schedule for IDPs, you mean?
Yes, IDP student.
Yes. I think now, as mentioned from Mr. Ammar and Mr. Omar, that for now, comparing with the previous years, we are in the stage of, like we have passed the stage of emergency all over the country. We are in the stage between recovery and development. So even the number of IDPs, they are like reducing day by day. Even like by the ministry of education and even the government. They are their plans is to close all the IDPs camps like by these upcoming years. So the issue now is going from another part to another stage. The main issue is about returnees now. We have to be ready for the next stage, which is reintegration of these returnees going back to their place of origin. Because this place of origin for most of IDPs now, like for the stable places like the centers of locations like Salahuddin or Mosul and other places, most of, if you realize from statistics, most of people, IDPs, they have returned in these places because there is kind of stability in terms of security situation. There is stability in terms of providing the public services, especially like education and the other ones. But the issue is with the hard to reach areas. These areas, there is a very limited public services. One of these services are the education, like especially schools. For these locations, village districts, there is no enough number of schools. Even like the schools, if it's available within the district, like it's far away from these villages or rural areas. So this will be the challenge for returnees now for the upcoming years.
Okay.
In addition to that, like most of these locations, it was like already damaged from the previous conflicts happened in these locations.
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Tahir. Thank you for information. Now, I would like to go for another topic. My next question relating to post-special needs. I have experienced 15 years with special need case. I would like to address this question to Ms. Jaylan Sabah. I know KSC, they are very with special need case. Mr. Jaylan, my
Yes,
question,
Dr. Zana.
my question for you, how difficult it is for special needs to get education in Iran?
So, to enter the subject, just like Mr. Ammar and Mr. Tahir mentioned, one of the first challenges that we have right now is infrastructure. So, Dr. Zana, you have a lot of experience with children with special needs. So, you are aware that based on the policies and the regulations that we have right now in the KRI and in Iraq education is to have schools that are accessible for children with disabilities. So when we talk about infrastructure, besides the mainstream infrastructure, we have infrastructure for children with special needs. So one of the first things that any school should have is what we call a resource room. This resource room is I know it's not inclusion, but as a first step is integration. So we have come a long way from exclusion to segregation. I'm really glad to see that we are far from those two areas. Now we are working through integration, hopefully in the next few years, if the government keeps paying attention and taking our efforts towards enhancing education more, because I've been in this area with the NGOs for like 10 years, but I've never seen a sector that grows and changes as fast as education. It is changing, and may I say it's a positive change. We see positive changes here. Hopefully in the central government as well as taking serious efforts towards this, because we are talking about it now. So the resource room within the infrastructure has to be like a school, the schools before this before coming into integration, the schools were built without thinking about accessibility for these children. So you see, WCs are not accessible. Schools are with many stories. Building with like or 2 stories, doesn't have an elevator, doesn't have a resource room. The building in like is not accessible for these children. So when we talk about resource room, you know that these rooms come with requirements, special requirements, and they have to have an accessible design like ramps, wide doorways, non-slip flooring, proper lighting, and perhaps noise reduction to accommodate the sensory needs of these children.
Right.
We also may talk about safe and hygienic facilities. We need to see more we need to see more equipment, assistive equipment in the schools. But since we all mentioned that taking another step forward to pay more attention or to take our attention towards building better infrastructure for these schools is going to take a huge amount of funding, but I think we have come a great way. I think we are heading towards a great way to make these changes possible. So, as KSC, just like I said, I'm new to education. It's been 3 years since I'm dealing with with the education sector, especially with special education here at KSC. We have been delivering services to children with disability from ADHD, ASD, even CP and physical therapy. So we have built a really good set of skills for our staff, and now we're working on spreading these skills through the government sector. I'm really glad to announce that very soon we will be starting capacity building also in Baghdad. So these are, in my point of view, really good steps being taken uh, towards growing in this sector. So
Okay. Okay, Ms. Jay. Mr. I come back to you. Mr. Sultan, she talked about so many important things about special needs. Mr. Jaylan work with organization. How about the Iraqis or government planning for education for special needs? My question for you is, does the Ministry of Education in Iraq have any program for special needs children?
So right now, I missed to mention you talked about challenges. We have come a good way. It's great efforts are being made, but we still have many challenges with the cases that we see every day, with the resource room that we are doing research and working on activating them. We still have like curricular issues. We have good policies at hand, but there's no enforcement for these policies. So unfortunately, we keep seeing cases every day for children with minor intellectual disabilities being rejected from schools, being rejected to be enrolled. But this is not the system's fault, to be honest. This is individual decisions are being made by, I think it returns to lack of awareness sometimes. And sometimes even the private sector of the medical sector is taking a bit of this responsibility, because I think you are also aware of these mistakes that being made with the children's medical reports that the parents have to um, uh, bring forward for the principal to enroll their child. You see some medical mistakes made in these reports. Some reports have, this is one of the cases that I recently dealt with actually. A child came forward with a medical report of ADHD. And after examining them by our experts, and we have a Center for Children with Special Needs, after being examined by the child and monitored for 3 days, the child does not have ADHD at all. So we took a second opinion, and I'm really glad to say that that child is now enrolled in school. Even though if the child was with ADHD, even if that medical report was correct, the system indicates, the laws, the policies indicate that this child should be enrolled. But just like I said, these are not the system's fault. This is individual decisions being made by principals. May I say that these principals are afraid to deal with the case, since there is still a huge gap in the awareness area. So even for the medical section, for the medical sector, I don't think this goes back to anything with bad intentions from these doctors, but I think it reflects lack of awareness, lack of experience in this area. So we still have a long way to go forward in this sector. But just like I said, NGOs in hand with the government, in hand with the medical community and other active communities, I believe that we can make the change to bring these, to take another step forward in the medical and the special need
Mr. Wan, I
education.
come back to you, Shua. Thank you so much. Just I want to hear Mr. Ammar. Does the Ministry of Education have any specific program for special needs students?
I think, Doctor, there is a new adjustment of law for those who for the special needs and the disabled. I think the government of Iraq and the parliament is working for it, and I think it is for the final steps of it. As you know, this law, I think number 38 for disabled or special needs, it contains with the head committee of it many, I think more than 10 ministries. One of them was the Minister of Education and Minister of Health also. And as you know, these category or these people are, there is a committee dealing with it. So I think we are going, or there is some efforts, many efforts to readjust their law. And everyone or every ministry will go with its role with this adjustment. But as a matter of fact, for the Ministry of Education, whatever we are saying for these people or these students, we are still suffering from the essential problem for the school buildings and their areas and what their requirements. What they need to keep on getting education. So all what we are saying or we are hearing, there's methods or thoughts or whatever you call, but as a matter of fact, if we don't solve the problem of buildings, I think nothing will be done on ground. This is my point of view. I don't know what the Ministry of MOSA have for this matter, because as you know, special needs or disabled are for the responsibility of MOSA. But for the education sector, I think this responsibility of Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education, I think it is easy for them to support to give teachers or curriculums, making examinations or making anything for them. But for the essential problem of building, I think it is never will be solved if we don't solve this problem. So if we get appropriate building for them and for all students, I think it is easy for everything to be done correctly.
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Ammar. Now we will go to another topic. This topic is boycott in Kurdistan. I would like boycott question, Mr. Tahir or Mr. Omar, answer this question. First one, I'd like to hear Mr. Umar. Mr. Umar, how did the boycott in Kurdistan region affect education? Do you have any specific program for controlling boycott in Kurdistan?
Thank you very
Mr.
much. Thank you very much for this question. Actually, if we are talking about this challenge, I would like to look at the situation from the Ministry of Education perspective first. If we are looking at both ministries of education and looking at the program of the Ministry of Education, is this issue within the Ministry of Education or it is beyond Ministry of Education? From what we are seeing, it is beyond Ministry of Education. As we look at the challenges that we are facing nowadays, even the topic that for the inclusive education you mentioned, or any other topics, the structure of education system falls under three main pillars, which is the system strengthening access to education and quality education. Between these three pillars, our vision is the child should be the core between these three main pillars. Our advocacy is to look at the best interest of the child, and we advocate that we support the children because the teachers are the key to deliver the knowledge from the textbooks to children. What we don't need a certification without knowledge. I don't think having a certification without knowledge has any value. Now, what we need to see youth when we are graduating, they are ready for the job market. As mentioned by Mr. Ammar, even in the non-formal education, our vision is to have programs that aligns with the current job market. Going back to this issue, we would like to advocate. We all support the right of child, and we would like to look at the children as a priority and how we can support the children to continue their education. Because as long as this issue takes longer, at the end it will affect the children, and at the end having this certification without the proper knowledge, without having certain hours inside the school, is affecting those children. Thank you all.
Okay, Mr. Umar, thank you so much. Mr. Tahir, it's your turn. UNESCO, they have a specific program working with boycott in Kurdistan.
Thank you, Dr. Zana. To be honest, we don't have, it's difficult to find a specific tailored like a program for this issue because the issue is, as Mr. Omar said, is beyond education. It's like a governmental issue. It needs like a huge effort. But as he mentioned, like as UN agencies, with other international NGOs. We have been like doing advocacy with the federal government of Iraq and with the KRG government, trying to strengthen like the communication and like advocate, like do an effective dialogue between the two parties. The other thing is we have been working some educational programs, which was like somehow mitigating the effect of this boycott. For example, we have been working closely with the federal government and even KRI government, doing like digitalization for curriculum. This this will enhance and make the education cannot stop approach, even if the teachers will not attend physically to the schools. So there is kind of programs engaged with education, mitigating like the effect of the boycott, but it's like a straightforward like project to to be to solve this issue is kind of difficult for UN agencies and NGOs to be a part on. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mar, UNICEF and UNESCO, they talking about on BIACOD topic. I know BIACOD matter related to government more than UNICEF and UNESCO. Do you know now in Suleiman, especially Suleiman Kurdistan, have a full strike? Some schools, Mohammed schools, they have a BIACOD. The Iraqi government, especially Ministry of Education, do you have any specific plan for solving this problem?
I think, Dr. Zana, I think for my information, this is a matter of this is a financial problem, not educational or not any cause. This is some problem in the case of the corporate financial issue. I think it is important for if you want to know the real cause. I think you must have this information from the Minister of Finance.
Jaylan, I come back to what do you say about the BIACOD in Kurdistan? KSC have a specific thing for working on this problem?
So just like my fellow friends here said, it's a problem that is beyond the education sector. And just like Mr. Ammar said, it's a financial issue that is causing a crisis in the education sector here. Especially in Slimania nowadays, we are seeing protests, teachers are boycotting, children are out of school. So this is going to have a really deep impact on the education of these children. So as NGOs, we definitely, as NGO, we stand with both teachers' right and also our students' right, our children's right for education. But it's not about right or wrong, because both sides are getting the bad impact of this problem. So I think those parties that are working on this issue from both government side should take this to consideration, that this bad impact is going to impact the education of these children for I don't know, for 5-6 years ahead. So it's a serious issue. But as NGO, as KSC, and I think many other local NGOs, we are working on supporting both sides. So we have remedial classes for those children who are in their first grades. We have math classes, we have science classes. We have a lot of practical activities that are related to their curricular activity. And also we are supporting the teachers and trainings and awarenesses and whatever the schools need when they start the next semester. So our door has always been open for any school that has come forward for assistance. But just like I said, the predicament is not in the hands of the NGOs right now. It's a financial issue that is causing directly a crisis in the sector of education. But we are supporting both groups. We are very close working with the students and also closely working with the teachers, with the schools, with their needs.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope one day we can BIACOD in Kurdistan be slower, because seriously, they have so many effect on the student for all sectors, primary, university, all of us. Now, my question is finished.
Kurzana, just as a note, when I said primary, because education now is really accessible for those children who are in higher levels. With computers, internet, it's a really fast world. So in elementary, when the child is learning the elementary education, numbers, alphabets, and the minimal life skills that they need. I think it's a really good establishment if they go through a really stable go through stable circumstances. This is why this is impacting their education for the next years, even past boycott, because at the time where they should be learning alphabets, they're at home. They're not learning anything. So their life skills are going, the life skills that they learned from the social media, from the environment around them, is going to be a lot different from things that they can learn inside a school environment. So this is why I think the impact is sadly great. But hopefully in the next few months, we hope to see a positive change. Hopefully.
Hopefully, we hope so. Okay, Mr. Amar, Mr. Saeed, do you have a specific for say that the question is about bio, about special need, about education in Iraq crisis, about anything on education?
I think what she said is very clear and very correct because we have suffered from this previously, as I said, for ISIS issue. There was no education in for governorates in Iraq, major governorates in Iraq. I think we are still now paying the debts of this of these 4 years because there are now many or hundreds or thousands of students are not registered or out of or their ages are out of formal education ages. So I think this is why I asked Mr. Tahir my question before about what are the strategies or the actions of UNESCO for adult learning education regarding the SDG or UIL policy. Because as we know, UNESCO is the most important organization dealing with adult learning education in the global. Unfortunately, we don't see anything or any actions for this matter. This is very sad for me because I'm the one who was in charge for non-formal education in Iraq. So I'm still waiting. Many years, I'm still waiting for something to be given for the adult education in Iraq by UNESCO. By the way, there are many NGOs working for this matter, but still doubt to the responsibility or the regulations or global regulation for education, for adult learning education, or non-formal education for UNESCO. It is important to hear or see something by UNESCO for this issue.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Umar and Mr. Tahir, do you have any specific thing? Mr. Umar and Mr. Tahir.
From my side regarding the inclusive education, what is not mentioned, I would like to emphasize on in Law 22, 2011, Minister of Education, and Law 13, 2022, Minister of Education, Kurdistan, Law 38, as mentioned by Mr. Ambar, which is now they are going to amend, was just focusing on education with the special need. What I see, we really need to go beyond the system. The systems are there as a structure, but the fact on the ground is playing a major role. 90% of schools, they don't have access for children of school with the special needs. This is a reality on the ground, and we really need to revisit those schools and support the access to children with the special needs. The recent Back to Learning campaign with Ministry of Education, Iraq, and Minister of Education, Kurdistan identified over 3,000 out of school children as special need with physical disability. They are out of school children, and the majority of them drop out because of bullying, which means we really need to look at social behavior change programs. Because the children with the physical disabilities or special needs are subject for bullying because of this issue. Children with mental disabilities, we really need to dig deeper and understand special needs and what are the issues that faced by children. Well, that is, as mentioned, the different types of needs. Is it optical issues? Is it other issues that we are talking about, dyslexia, dyscalculia? These issues are not clearly identified inside the schools. As a result, is that we are giving a sticker for those children. We are saying that, and as we are saying in Kurdish, Tabarakan, and they are going to be sit in the last seat, and this is a sticker for them at the end, or Talab al-Kasala in Arabic language. But what is the real issue in the background? So this is something we really need to look at in the inclusive education and education with special needs. Thank you all.
Okay, thanks so much. Mr. Tahir, just you have 2 minutes. Do you have anything to tell us?
Thank you, Dr. Zana. I have just 2 points to mention. The first point is about what the question which was raised from Mr. Ammar about adult learning and lifelong learning, as UNESCO is globally leading this matter. In terms of adult learning and lifelong learning, we are in a close communication with many donors. We are in the stage of working on developing project proposals, but it's still in the initial stages. For now, until now, we don't have any programs ongoing regarding that. We already have the TIVET program, the one related to technical and vocational training and education. This is the ongoing one funded by EU. We are now in the stage of kicking off the third phase of this TIVET project. It's called Green TIVET project because it's compiling the perspectives of TIVET with climate change approaches, as one of the priority of the government of Iraq now is climate change. The other important point that I have wanted to raise is the issue that we have in Iraq overall is related to special education, related to ALP, all the Department of Education is the quality of the data that we have. In terms of education and in terms of any other topics, the issue is regarding our statistics. In Iraq, our statistics are most of them based on estimations. We don't have a specific statistics. So as our continuous work and following the phase 1 of MS project, we are working in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Education in KRI. We are working now on iTalim program. One of the component, we are in partnership with UNICEF, funded by EU. We are working on iTalim project. One of the main component of this project is the establishment installment of education management information system. This will give us the opportunity to have a clear, specific data about anything related to the educational system in Iraq. This will feed any related topic and will increase the quality of overall programs. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tahir. Finally, dear attendants and panelists, we finally reached a conclusion that they are attempts to make education better for all Iraqi children, but we shall now not forget that Iraq and Kurdistan need to work closely to solve problem related to children, including special like code and IDP and the most effective way. thank you again for joining us on our webinar, and thank you for addressing important questions and discussion. I hope we will be able to assist with rebuilding education in federal Iraq and education of IDP in Kurdistan. Again, thank you. Welcome. I hope as soon as we will see you next this webinar. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zahra.
Thank you. Thank you,
Guys.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for leading us through that.